I just don't see how you can look at Chauncey and what he's doing right now and say for certain that he's going to return. Now, there are certainly excuses. Last year was a throwaway season where they tanked, and Dame set out the majority of the year. So that's not on Chauncey. And this year, poor roster and guys in and out of the lineup. So there's been issues. But you have to look at different aspects of the game. Are the Blazers improving? Are we seeing them make progress on offense, on defense, with the things that, Chauncey set out to do with this group? And I think the answer to that largely would be no. But at the same time, I'm not going to overreact based on the roster that he has. I know some of you disagree. I think this roster is one of the worst in the league. It's not well balanced. They don't have a lot of size. There's only one star and a lot of question marks. One star and a lot of question marks. Now, there are some good players on the team, but those are limited. Dame obviously is a superstar, but outside of that, what do you got? Undersized team that lacks talent. And, of course, you've got the ownership issue with Jody Allen and Burt Cole. But those issues can't be resolved overnight. So what you need to focus on right now is where the Blazers sit in the draft order, and that's why you got to spend a lot of time between now and the end of the season at tankathon.com. The Blazers are now 31-38 on the season. They moved into a tie for 6th in the draft order. And as I mentioned before, if you sit in 6th, you have a 9% chance at the number 1 overall pick, which is Victor Wembanyama. And you'll end up with a 37.2% chance to jump up into the top 4 and net yourself a valuable pick. The great thing about that type of draft status or potential is you'll wind up with a very valuable pick that other teams will value that you can use on a player or as part of a trade to go out and net yourself something that you need on this team. And if they're going to continue to move forward and try to win with Dame, you need more star power. Because to roll out a group like we've seen right now and expect them to win is absurd. Absolutely absurd. This team's so bad defensively, it's just laughable. And even when they have a stretch where they get stops, then their offense fails them. And that's because they don't have enough reliable options on the floor. Oh, they just don't play well. They seem disconnected right now, and the coach sounds defeated. And I can understand why. They're not good, and they haven't been for quite some time. They opened the year at 10-4. They're now 31-38. So they're 21-34 during that stretch. 21-34 since they opened the season at 10-4. And that's what you have. So my focus now, I'm going to be honest with you, is all on draft position. It's all on draft position. Getting the best possible opportunity to land a true difference maker. And even if it's only 9%, a 9% chance at a generational talent like Victor Wembanyama, sign me up for that. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. 123-107 is the final. The Knicks get the win. Chris Burkhardt is here. He is weathering the storm in his own life with sickness running through the family, but he is here. He is in charge. And, I mean, it feels like New Orleans was kind of the game where you're like, okay, they're done. But tonight, seeing what I saw tonight and the way this game just went sideways after the first quarter, like, you're going to put a fork in this group. D-O-N-E, done.
Toasted. It's not looking good right now. And don't get me with this nonsensical BS that's been out there the last few days from some talking heads with the whole like, well, if we're going to dog them from blowing leads, we got to talk about the fact that obviously they're executing the game plan early because they're getting out to big leads. Like that's the NBA. That happens.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're getting out to 16-point leads, 20-point leads, 30-point leads sometimes and not holding them is just crazy. And it's not like you're not holding them. You're taking them to the edge of a cliff and just letting go and watching them fall all the way down. Like if you led by 16 and then you lose by 1, okay, when you led by 16 then lose by 16, that's a 32-point swing, man. That's not small.
Yeah, I knew things were bad with this group when they were talking moral victories after that Philly game.
Yeah.
They played a good game for 3 quarters, completely fell apart in the 4th, and got beat by the Sixers. So it's a game that you should have won, but you didn't, and somehow that was a moral victory. No, you fell apart like you have all season during a key stretch of the game, and you lose. And you hear guys trying to find a moral victory. I'm like, that's not Trailblazer basketball.
No, like I told you, Chad, you can find a moral victory in game 6 or 7,
yeah,
but not game 67.
Mm-hmm.
much different ball game. You should know who you are by now. Like, that's the thing. Well, no, if this happens, this happens. No, this is 70 games in. You are who you are. It's not all of a sudden going to change over the next 13 games, right? Like, no, this is who they are. And it's unfortunate because it's just not looking great.
No, it's not. And one of the areas we talked about before the game, the rebounding department, right? The Knicks dominated them on the glass.
Dominated.
They dominated them on the glass. That was a big concern going in, and the Blazers just didn't have enough. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Let's go out to Kieran, who's joining the show. Kieran, welcome back to the fifth quarter, my friend. What was your takeaway from tonight?
Hey, Chad. Hey, how's it going?
Very well.
Hey, and I was actually at this game tonight.
Oh, my goodness. Of all the games you show up for, you had to sit through a great first quarter, and then you watch them fall apart.
Yes, I enjoyed the first quarter a lot.
What was the atmosphere like at Moda tonight?
What was it like? The atmosphere was pretty good tonight. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are you looking for the rest of this year? What are you hoping for?
What am I hoping for? I just want to see the Blazers do well, though. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, though.
Yeah, I think tonight was kind of the end of that hope, and now they can look to a draft position and hopefully continue to put themselves in a position to have usable assets. Yeah, I think that's the most
important
thing.
To get a draft position. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but I thought it was a good game tonight. I know New York won though, but yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kieran. What's cool is that you were there and you had a chance to be there and support your crew.
And I still enjoyed being there to watch the Blazers. Yeah.
Well, Kieran, as always, man, I appreciate your calls and your support of the team, my
thank
friend.
you, Chad.
You got it, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's Kieran at Moda Center tonight. Said the atmosphere was pretty good. The Blazers take the loss tonight, 123 to 107. So I guess some questions I have for you. I mean, what's your takeaway from what you're seeing right now? What's wrong with this team? Is it the lack of talent, which is apparent? Is it Chauncey Billups? And really, what's your take on Chauncey? Do you think the Blazers should move on from Chauncey at the end of the year? Do you think that he shouldn't take so much heat because of the roster? Where do you come out on Chauncey Billups? 503-248-0620. Let's go out and talk with Charlie, who joins the fifth quarter. Charlie, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, Chad. Finally, the Blazers did me right. I had a 3-game parlay and a 2-game parlay that both were the Blazers, key in them losing. And they got out to an 8-0 lead, and I thought, oh, my God, I better drive up and hedge my bet. And then my daughter goes, Dad, how many times have Blazers blown? I sat back down. All right, trust your Blazers. And they did. They came through and lost pretty big.
Well, when I saw that the line was 2.5, when I saw the Knicks were only a 2.5-point favorite, I was like, that's almost like free money.
Chad, I was sitting here, and again, I didn't want to make the drive up because I'd already done it once. But when I saw that I could have put the spread to 14 points, it went to 4.5 to 1 at that point. $10 gets you back $55. And sure enough, they lose by 16 points. But, yeah, that was a ridiculous spread. And, again, love and hearts and hoping that they keep Chauncey through the rest of the season because he is great at losing games. I mean, no, it takes – I agree. They don't have a lot of talent. But, Chad, when you do have as many 20 and 25-point leads as they have, and they do nothing about it to change the game. I mean, very rarely does he do stuff like a full court trap or just something to change momentum. You just call a timeout to change momentum to get your guys to believe that what you're going to do next is going to change the game. And instead, he just lets it go and lets it go. And unless he's being told to lose, he's really doing a horrible job. But I think he is being told to lose. I mean, and rightfully so, because let's get that big man.
Well, do you think that they should move on from Chauncey at the end of the year?
I hate to say it, but yes.
Okay.
I really do.
Yeah, I respect
I just
that,
don't
Charlie.
think. All right.
Well,
I'm not a coach go-getter.
Hey, just make sure that you continue to access the free money for the rest of this year. You got 13 more games. Don't miss out.
Dude, I am. You know what's hard, though, is, again, they've done me right so many times, but they're so inconsistent. Dame can go score 71 points, and you're screwed. It's like, oh, my God, the one game that Dame goes for 7, and you just aren't going to win those games. But, yeah, you're right. I am jumping on it every time, buddy. All right. Thanks. And go Blazers. Lose some more.
You got it, man. There's Charlie. All right. Phone lines are lit. Stay on hold. I'm going to take your phone calls next. 503-248-0620. Blazers got clowned again tonight, 123 to 107. Put a fork in them. They are DUN done. At least it will end all the ridiculous conversations about the play-in tournament. Oh, geez, they're only a few games out of the play-in tournament. I wonder if they can make it. Not now. And that's best. It's what's best. They need to access the best possible draft order they can. And right now they're tied for 6th, which would give them a 9% chance at Victor Wembanyama. 503-248-0620. Your phone calls are coming up next here in the 5th quarter.
The fifth quarter poster play of the night is brought to you by Collection Connection, the leaders in framing sports memorabilia, team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
The elbow with Dame on his back. Swings it in the near corner. It's tipped and stolen. 5-0 now to Dame. To Simons on the break. The drive and the slam.
All right, 503-248-0620. Fifth quarter, Chad Doing and Chris Burkhart with you here on 620 Rip City Radio. You can join us live on the YouTube chat if you'd like. Just go to youtube.com, and you can pull up our homepage, which is Rip City Radio, and you'll be able to click on the live link right there and join us via the YouTube stream. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620. I thought it would be appropriate on a night when the Trailblazers unveiled a new mascot, a hipster beanie-wearing Bigfoot named Douglas Fir, that we bring on the man behind the ultimate Bigfoot documentary here in Portland, A Flash of Beauty, Bigfoot Revealed. And I believe Brett's out there right now. Brett, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's happening, Chad? I'm on my way home from the game. I couldn't miss it tonight.
No, you had to be there. You had to be there because they unveiled the new mascot. What's your take on the Bigfoot named Douglas Fir?
I love him. I think it's so great. We need it. Look, I love Trail. You know, the Trail Cat Blaze. I mean, I think he's great, but we need some fresh blood out there. And what a better mascot than a Bigfoot. And we talked about this a few months ago when I called in on the Rip City Radio show about how we needed a Bigfoot mascot.
That's right.
And here he is. He's awesome.
Now, did you talk to them, the Blazers? Did you know this was going to happen, or did you find out like everyone else?
I had no idea it was going to happen. You know, I reached out to them and I said, hey, I want to be part of the night, but I did not hear back from the Blazers, unfortunately. But I'd like to think that our conversation those few months ago had a little something to do with tonight.
Yeah, that's right. We could have inspired something big. So I'm glad. Dude, that's pretty cool that you were there. And Burkhart, you got some Bigfoot action. What you got for him?
Yeah, Brett will probably appreciate this, but my dad is big into Bigfoot, no pun intended, right? So years ago when I was working for NBC and I traveled with the team all the time, I was walking through PDX airport there and I saw a stuffed Bigfoot and I bought it. And it was going to be a gift for him, but it was going to be a gift I wasn't going to give to him for about 3 years, Brett, because I traveled with it everywhere I went and I took a picture of this Bigfoot on every single NBA floor. I took pictures of him in like Washington, D.C., New York, Dallas, like everywhere I went. And then I made my dad this custom book that was called Traveling with Sasquatch. And it was a book, and it was nothing but the pictures of this little stuffed animal Sasquatch all around America.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And they're in every state, too. People are like, oh, Bigfoot's just one dude. And he lives in Oregon and Washington. But people have seen them in every single state. So that's really cool, Chris.
Yeah, I figured you'd appreciate that.
That's great, man. So so Brett, what else you up to? What other projects you working on right now?
I'm working on a sequel to my documentary, A Flash of Beauty. That's going to be out probably late summer, early fall. You know, just having fun with life, discovering new things. Huge Blazer fan, as usual, of course. So I got to say something. So, look, I'm kind of glad they lost tonight, like you guys were talking about. I think the best thing for us to do is to get into that draft. And I'm going to make a prediction right now because I know some strange people in strange places. And I'm going to say right here, live on radio, that I think we're going to get Victor. I feel it.
Dude,
I feel it.
I'm telling you what, man. Victor Wembanyama would transform the organization overnight, and that would bring about as much excitement. It'd be like a Bigfoot sighting, man. It would be awesome. It would transform the franchise, baby.
I got a funny feeling. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm telling you what, that's why I want that 9% chance. Get into the 6th spot in the draft order, get a 9% chance of Victor, and then boom.
Yep, we can do it. Absolutely.
Well, Brett, man, I appreciate it. That is Brett. Once again, he is the man behind the documentary you need to check out. It's a really good one. A Flash of Beauty, Bigfoot Reveal. Brett, thanks for calling in, man. I'm glad you were there to take in the new mascot, buddy.
So was I, Chad. Thanks a lot for having me on the air. Appreciate it.
You got it. There you go. There's Brett. That's pretty sweet that you did that for your pops, Burkhart.
Oh yeah, he loved it too. Loved it. It was fun. I just always, walking around walking around an NBA arena, like dressed up to do professional stuff. Like I would do a hit with The Godfather, right?
Uh-huh.
Like we're in New Orleans. There's my hit with The Godfather. Then we get done. And I'd grab this little Sasquatch and I put him on the court. Then I go take pictures. And like the looks I was getting, like, what is this guy doing taking pictures of a stuffed animal on the court? But my dad loved it.
Let's go back out to the phones. Let's go to Tony in Vancouver. Tony, welcome to the fifth quarter. What's your take on what you saw tonight?
It's been a long time, Chad. This is what you get when you got an owner who's never been involved in basketball, a GM who's never been a GM, a coach who's never been a coach, and Paul Allen's party and drinking buddies having a lot of say. You got a rudderless, headless ship running this, and this is what you got.
You know what, Tony? I agree 100%. And until it changes at the top, they're going to continue to be a rudderless ship.
Yeah, you can get Wimbayama and Obama or whoever you want to get. Same thing. You got a rudderless ship that's not being run right. All right. Thank you.
Hey, now,
There's Tony
Obama
in
did have a
Vancouver.
pretty good jump shot. He put it on display more than once.
They could maybe use him out there stroking it a bit right now. This team, outside of Dame, man, they don't have a lot of answers right now.
They do not.
Oh. Let's go to Mike out in Lake O. Mike, what's up? What was your takeaway from what you saw, that disaster out there at Moda tonight?
I don't know about you, but it's pretty bad when Bigfoot is the highlight of the evening.
That's when you know you're kind of a train wreck of an organization, man. The biggest thing of the night was a Bigfoot mascot.
I mean, seriously, Chad, they've got some good players on the team. They've got good role players on this team, but they're not going to. They don't have enough players. They don't have enough great players to get into the playoffs.
I agree.
And this is just frickin' misery. This is like every night is like going to the dentist and getting a root canal, and you know how it's going to end. Your face is going to be swelled up, and you're going to be rooting for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They got to let Chauncey Billups go. The man cannot coach. He's a nice guy, but when I listen to his post-game interviews,
it's the same thing.
He looks like he's a dead man walking.
That's right. Walking the green
He's
mile.
lost the team. They don't listen to him. I mean, why did we get rid of Stotts? Because Stotts didn't teach defense. Well, guess what? Neither does Billups, and our offense has gotten worse.
Yeah, it's a mess, man. It's a mess, and you nailed it. It's like there's no way that Chauncey's 100% safe. They got to evaluate that situation seriously after the year. I mean, he hasn't had perfect working environment here in Portland with all the roster issues, but yeah, team's not responding. They're not responding at all. And 17 games where they've blown a double-digit lead is a problem. And the talent, lack of, is a big issue. Let's go to Sean. Sean, appreciate the call. You're up on the fifth quarter. What was your takeaway from tonight?
Utterly rudderless ship.
Yep.
Rudderless ship. It's just getting worse.
Yep.
I don't get it. You're dead on, Chad. I know a lot of people give you flack for the way you tell the truth, and I think that's the problem with most fans in this team is that they don't want the truth to hit them in the face. They would rather make excuses and come up with conundrums. Oh, this is happening or that's happening. Chauncey Billups is a disaster. He walks around with his hands in his pockets or his arms folded. He doesn't say nothing. He leaves half the games with 3 or 4 timeouts in his pocket, never challenges calls but once in a blue moon. I mean, this is just bad. That last guy, Mike, had it dead on with the Paul Allen guys running the ship in Seattle. She's got to sell the team. Take the money from Mr. Knight and turn this franchise around, please. For the love of Blazer fans, I've been a fan for over 40 years, and I'm sick of it. I've been a season ticket holder for 7 years, and I'm ready to dump. And I just don't know how much more I can take of this. It's just terrible. This is worse than the Brandon Roy days. At least then you had a team that at least competed. This is terrible.
That's a good phone call right there, Sean. I appreciate that. Yeah, I look at coaches the way I look at, players on the roster. I like Chauncey, too. I think the guy's cool. But, I'm not convinced that he's the coach or the answer moving into the future. I mean, if you can upgrade and get someone that you think is going to be better leading this team in the future, then do it. The cost to get out of that deal with Chauncey is not outrageous. If they want to move on, it's probably going to come down to Dame of what he wants, but, I wouldn't be married to the coach. And the GM that's in there right now, Joe Cronin, didn't pick him. He was handpicked by Neil Olshey. So, no, you got to look at everything. Now, the roster, which is in desperate need of talent, you've got to look at the coaching staff, Chauncey Billups. You got to look at everything you can to get this team on the right track. Don't settle for something if you've got access to something better. But, the ownership thing will be solved soon enough. Jody's not going to have the team forever. They're probably waiting until that new TV deal kicks in 2025. And then we'll start to hear discussions about the team being sold. And the reason why they're going to wait for the new TV deal is because the value of the franchise is going to skyrocket again. And that's probably why they're waiting, and we'll wait until that time for when the team's going to be moved. But I believe, based on who's in charge right now at the very top, that they won't be the team that we truly want them to be and on the pathway that we want them to be until they have new leadership at the top. People who understand how to run a team, how to surround themselves with decision makers that are free to make decisions, smart people that know how to build a team, how to win, how to do things the right way, and not just with basketball decisions, but as a franchise as a whole, to be a winner. If Phil Knight ends up being a part of that group, then that's terrific because he's proven himself over the course of a long period of time. But, yes, I am hoping that day comes real soon. New leadership, so they're no longer a rudderless ship. But the good news is right now that loss tonight moved them into a tie for 6th in the draft order, which is good news for the franchise. That is a high-value asset and an opportunity to put you in a position to land maybe Victor Wembanyama or jump into the top 4. Those are good things.
Who's better at disappearing and not being found, Bigfoot or the Blazers defense?
The Blazers defense. I mean, it's been like this for a while now. I would say that of all the things that Chauncey has done, or I guess we could say not accomplished, I wasn't expecting them to be a top 10 defense, Burkhart, but to see zero improvement on that end of the floor with him as coach is truly baffling to me.
Yeah.
And I understand that he doesn't have the personnel to maybe execute it the way he wants, but to see guys, again, appear to be lost, not communicate well, get out of position, not contest the three-point line, and allow teams to just have straight-line drive after straight-line drive is mind-numbing to me. It's frustrating because he was brought in under the idea that the roster was fine and that the coaching wasn't proper.
Mm-hmm.
And Chauncey was the defensive-minded player who was going to come in and teach guys how to defend, and that has not happened.
No, it has not. And I posed this question to you earlier. Like, would the defense be better if Tom Thibodeau was the coach?
Yes,
and you
because
said,
he would demand it of them.
Yeah, and might not be by much, but, like, if Tom Thibodeau is the coach and the team is 22nd for, let's say, right? Is that better? Yeah, it's better. And I think he could take a guy like Nasir Little or Trendon Watford and at least show some sort of improvement with them.
And here's why. Because Tom Thibodeau, I mean, look, say what you want about Thibodeau, but one thing we know about him that he has proven over the course of a long period of time, his teams, everywhere he's been, have been great defensively. They get after it. They stay connected. They communicate. They know what they need to do because he knows how to teach it and how to coach it. And if you don't do it the right way, he will get someone on the floor that will. There's accountability there. Now, Chauncey Billups, no experience, hasn't done it before, and we're seeing that just because you were a good defensive player, taking that ability you had as a player and knowing how to communicate it and teach it to other guys, it's a different skill set. And that's why coaching is so tough.
Very tough.
Whew. And I would imagine, I haven't looked at it, I haven't paid attention to the Knicks recently, but I would guess, as I pull up the rankings right now, the Knicks are probably top 10 in defensive rating. And where are the New York Knickerbockers here? Let's see here. The Knicks, They're 12th defensively. So they're up there amongst the better teams defensively in the league because that's Tom Thibodeau. He knows how to coach it. All right, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620. We'll come back and take a listen to Chauncey Billups. We'll go into the coach's corner, and we'll continue to get your reaction as the Blazers ball tonight. Good news is Boston's coming to town on Friday. 7 o'clock tip from Moda here on 620 Rip City Radio.
Nothing But Net Shot of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab always sounds good for dinner.
68 apiece, 5.5 to play. Dame with a deep three, buries it. Dame comes right back. He's got 30. 7th time he's done it against the Knicks. 31st time this season.
It's time for the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups on Blazers Game Day, presented by Henderson & Daughter. Henderson & Daughter has been supplying superior design service, quality windows, entry doors, patio doors, and window installation to the Portland and Southwest Washington area since 1977. Before you decide to just replace your current windows or exterior doors, have our designers present you with a free in-home design consultation and estimate to show you the different styles we carry that can give your home a fresh new look. Henderson & Daughter, your window and door experts.
All right, Blazers take the loss tonight, 123-107. Let's check in following the game with Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups.
We started the game awesome. Obviously had a great first quarter. And, in the second quarter, it started to kind of, you could feel it kind of slipping a little bit. And they got more aggressive. They got more physical in that quarter. And I felt like we kind of caved in a little bit to their aggressive pressure. They started putting their head down, going to the basket, because the biggest difference was in the first quarter, we played solid defense, was able to collect the rebound, and we was off to the races. And we scored a lot in transition. Second quarter, they put their head down, they got on the free throw line. That's the reason why any coach wants to get on the free throw line, especially on the road, because the other team can't run. They got to take the ball out. Even though they missed a ton of free throws, got your whole defense get set up. That changed up how we could score, so easily. And then in the third quarter, they came out just a lot more aggressive. Now their three ball started going. So three ball started going, and they still was able to regulate, our runs with the free throw line. And it just was tough, and then we couldn't make a shot, man. We couldn't make a shot, and I had to start making subs, and our bench really struggled tonight, obviously. But we couldn't make twos in the paint. We couldn't make threes. It was a snowball, man.
When they get their defense going like that, aside from making shots, is it just really difficult for you guys to even come close to handling that without Jeremy, someone with a little more height, a little more athleticism to create some shots?
Yeah, we missed him. We missed Jeremy, But when they get it going like that, we don't have enough poise at times that when teams make runs to just settle down and run a play. I call timeouts and try to run plays to get back on track, get the ball moving, not just ISO. They're a really good help team, and they're a good one-on-one defensive team. So they're not going to let you just beat them that way, And, man, we come out, we get it moving for one or two possessions, and then we revert back, and plays right into their hands.
Chauncey, why do you think it is that you guys, are able to game plan and, build these big leads and then can't, sustain?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of tough for me to put my finger on. I think the biggest thing is we don't focus for long enough. And another thing that disappoints me about us is when we get these leads, we don't play the same way when you get the lead. Sometimes you get the lead and you let your guard down. Now team starts to go and they get momentum, and it's tough for us to really kind of stop them. So it's a couple different layers to it, but it's very disappointing. And it's deflating, at times. You get these leads and you're playing so good. Because one thing I don't like on my team or any other team, I don't like front running. I don't like that at all, because sometimes you're going to jump out there and have a good quarter or two, and then, like any NBA game, teams are going to make a run, and if we can't keep the same energy that we had when we were ripping and running, then that's a bad quality, for a team. And it's happened to us too many times this year, but we just don't have the resolve that we need when teams fight back.
think some of that might be about some of the stuff you were talking about pregame with, there not being that many veterans on the team and being so many young guys who maybe haven't been through it enough times?
That has a lot to do with youth, and inexperience. I can't expect a lot of these guys to understand that yet. They don't know, They get in these games, and these games mean so much at this time of the year, not only for us but for the other team. And so teams are playing with real desperation, and our guys are so young, they don't even know what that means. They just know it's a basketball game, and then we got a few guys on the roster that are old enough to understand, and it's frustrating for them too, So it's very difficult, man. It's very difficult, but we all I say this all the time, and I mean it when I say it, like, we all just have to be better, and that's no cliche, that's nothing. Like, I got to do a better job of preparing us, of probably subbing at better times, but, I really had nowhere to go today. I mean, we didn't have enough guys on the bench that played well enough to say, okay, what about such and such? It was tough. It was tough going out there today.
You guys are 3 games back of 10th now. Are you worried that the team might lose its fight, or is there enough time to fix the things you were just talking about?
I'm not worried about our team losing their fight. That's not been our issue. There haven't been many games this year where I said, man, we just didn't fight. There's been a few, out of 70, but I don't worry about that. I do worry about timing, This thing is we playing almost every other day, We knew that we had a tough weekend coming up, weekend with the Knicks, and then obviously Boston, Clippers. These are tough teams, So we obviously have to play better than we played the last 3 quarters of this game to be able to beat really anybody, So, yeah, you worry about it. That's what keeps you up at night, trying to prepare your team, prepare your staff, yourself for these battles.
I imagine what you saw from Josh tonight is pretty similar to what you saw from Josh when he was here. It's a very Josh game.
Yeah. Josh played great, man. He played great. I mean, there was several times that he had those type of nights for us, so we wasn't surprised at all about what Josh did. He's playing very well over there, and aside from when he's playing against us, we're all very happy to see him balling the way that he is. But, yeah, that was no surprise to us at all.
There's Coach Billups. I don't understand why it's troubling to me that Shaedon Sharpe got just over 7 minutes in the game tonight. Why are you not playing that guy? Watford played 40 minutes tonight. He gave nearly 20 to Reddish, who was terrible. I'd like to see those opportunities, at least in games like this or down the stretch, get some opportunities to Shaedon for him to continue to play and develop. Let's go out to Jake, who is in Northeast. Jake, appreciate the call. What's your takeaway on this latest disaster by the Trailblazers?
Chad, my brother, you just stole my thunder a little bit, man. I cannot believe that we would only give 7 minutes to Shaedon Sharpe. This guy is a guy that we tanked last year for. We signed Keldon Blevins to a contract so that we could secure a pick last year. We endured awfulness last year so that we could get a decent player, and we got him. We got this dude. We got this athletic 6'6" guy whose ceiling is superstar. His ceiling is literally superstar. He probably won't get there, especially if Chauncey's coaching him, but he could get there. He could get there. He could get to be one of those ridiculous athletic two-way wings that is what the NBA requires in this day and age to get a championship. And we got this fool out here playing him 7 minutes a night. We're getting embarrassed on our home floor, getting blown out, and you're playing the one guy that could possibly, save our franchise. You're playing him 7 minutes. What are you doing, dude? What is this fool doing? Chauncey's got to go. He's got to go. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
I have never, ever seen Blazers basketball look this lifeless and listless. They don't even know what they're doing on defense, man. guys' heads are turning. They're on a swivel. They don't even know what rotation they're in. They don't know if they're supposed to show on the pick and roll or if they're supposed to. It's crazy. I can never remember a team look this dead in the water, man. And what is he doing with his rotations? And he's playing Shaden Sharp 7 minutes. 7 minutes. All right. Ranto, what are your thoughts, Chad?
No, I'm with you 100%. Yeah, I mean, you heard it in the post game. He's confused to what his rotations are. My whole point is, like, it's almost like he's chasing wins or trying to find a way to win games. It's like, dude, you just got to let it go. This season's over. They're not going to the playoffs. So at least give minutes to someone that needs them to develop. And I realize that Shaden's going to make mistakes. Heck, they all do out here. It's not like we're talking about, a championship club here, but at least get Shaden on the floor. The reason why is because he has the talent and the potential to maybe be great. And you give him minutes so he can continue to develop, to get used to these type of situations, to be on the floor. The only way you can get better and continue to grow is by being on the floor and playing basketball. That's it. That's the way it's got to be. And you're right. They're lost defensively. They have no clue. None of them. They have no idea what they're doing out there at all. The defense they stink defensively. Stink. It's a joke. And it's been like that for too long. All right, if you're on hold, stay there. We're going to come back and take your calls. Keep things rolling here on the fifth quarter. Blazers get whacked again, 123-107. Had a 16-point lead, blew that. 17th time this year they've given up a double-digit lead and lost a game. Nice work, Coach. Appreciate that. The good news is 4 straight losses. The Blazers now tied for 6th in the draft order with the Indiana Pacers. Next game coming up on Friday against the Boston Celtics. Sure, that's going to go well. It'll be right here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Has it on the wing. Backs it up straight away. Slips the pass to Nurk. Underneath the Thibault lays it in. Quick hands from Matisse to put it in. He's got 12.
All right, fifth quarter. Chad Doing, Chris Burkhart with you. Telephone number 503-248-0620. A lot of people tonight frustrated with Coach Billups. Understandable. His rotations, his use of players. Shaden Sharp, for whatever reason, getting 7 minutes tonight. His rotations don't make a lot of sense. The lack of response by the team. They are lost on defense. Not a lot of good going on in the Rose City right now with the basketball team. And, oh, by the way, Boston coming to town on Friday. That game, Burkhart, could get ugly. When you're struggling and looking for answers, Boston's not the type of team you want to play because they'll mess you up. They will mess you up.
Yeah, they're a good team. I mean, you saw what it's like playing them on this road trip just last week. So, yeah, it's not going to be fun at all if they don't figure something out. And I don't think they will because I don't think they should.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They need to continue to collect ping pong balls and then put themselves in a position to make something happen during the summertime. Let's go back out to the phones, 503-248-0620. Oh, great. They've got the replay of the game already on in the TV here in the studio. Just what I want to watch. I know how this game ends.
At least it starts hot. They're up by 10 already.
Let's go talk to our good friend Victor in Turkey. Victor, welcome back to the fifth quarter. What was your takeaway from the game tonight, my friend?
Thanks a lot for letting me know. Let me express my, view, my own story. Well, I have to tell you the truth. Something about Godfather. The few weeks ago he mentioned to you because I listened to everything that you talked to. To Godfather. He mentioned to you that the Blazers trying to tank, but they don't say they want to tank. I remember that word. So that's the one confession of that, and also, you see, we have to look at it in broad way, because I had the opportunity living in America. I learned a lot of lessons about the politics and the society. America is a business-oriented country. Also, is number one militarily, number one, but also number one in business. So what that means is the NBA is the entertainment business, part of entertainment business. You go to Las Vegas, I've been to Las Vegas, you go to play games. There are lots of casinos you can change around. So that means also the people of America, they're very professional. They're number one. If you compare America to Turkey, it's not even comparable. Turkey, they are fanatic people. They are very sensitive and also they're erratic. They are not dangerous, but for example, if this game played in Turkey, you won't believe what will happen. If this game played in Turkey,
they go crazy, wouldn't they? They go crazy.
No, well, yeah, the referee, first of all, the referee can be fined by the organization if they go, they blow up some bad games in this game. The analyst said that Damian was frustrated, the other players were frustrated, but they couldn't do nothing. But in Turkey, if that happened, they could, the organization that watch over this, they could find the referee, they can give him a fine, and also they can even fire them. But also the referee also, they're afraid if they go out of the stadium, they could get hurt by the audience. They could get really hurt. But I'm telling you, but I have no information that they've been shot or they've been killed in Turkey. Although I know in South America there are more violence in that sense, there are more violence, especially in soccer. But never happened like if somebody killed the referee over there. But anyways, what I'm saying is you have to be professional and logical. In America, it's business oriented, and what I'm saying is, this Harlem, coming from the Harlem basketball, they come every year from the New York Harlem, what they call them. They come for show.
Yes.
They have a hard name. I cannot even remember.
About the Harlem Globetrotters?
Yeah. they come and they play enormous, shooting, jumping around. They have some artistic, feature. So what I'm saying is they're business company. I mean, you can see there are a lot of good basketball, very good basketball player, good shooter in that team. They can score from half court. So it's very obvious that this game, the whole thing, NBA is entertainment and also, is professional. That means most of the audience, they go to the game, they're professional. They understand that they want to, a lot of retirement. I'm retired myself. I go to the games just, to have some, stuff like that. Some young players, some young people, they get, emotional. But most of the people, they go to the games. Even the worst team, like the Houston Rockets or Indiana, people should go there. They're the last game. They're the last game on the NBA. But the people still go there because there's some retirement. They want to enjoy the game. So what I'm saying is, we have to be professional. Look at this situation. And also, I want to tell you, Chad, the NBA is very different from the Olympic. The Olympic, when the America goes against China or Russia or other games, they have to win. There is no mercy because it's a politics. It's a challenge of politics. They have to raise the flag, the American flag. But in the NBA, they're more relaxed. Whoever wins. So there are lots of things, playing in that scenario. But I want to ask you a question, Chad. Can I ask you a question?
Of course, yes.
If the Blazers, they get, Victor.
Yes.
And they get other players, of course, they're going to be a better team. But how many? Because I'm a Blazer fan, I want them to win championship. But you might say, well, they have a chance to go top on the league. But you think they might? How much chance if they have? They can win really championship with the Victor or other things. What is your gut feeling?
Oh yeah, if they get Victor. And that's a great name, isn't it? I would love for the Blazers to draft a Victor because it would remind me of you. But if they get Victor Wembanyama, it transforms the team overnight. And the great part about landing a player like that in the draft is that you're not giving up any of your assets. You're drafting Victor Wembanyama. He immediately will step in and start and transform the team. And then you have all of your other assets to go out and address other needs.
No, you got it wrong. If they got Victor Wembanyama, Coach Bills would still play him only 7 minutes.
He needs time to develop. I don't trust him.
Yeah. Put him in the doghouse because he made one bad defensive play.
Hey, Coach, why did Victor only play 7 minutes tonight? I can't trust him. He made a mistake on defense.
Yeah, he'd play Cam Reddish more.
He'd still be putting Watford out there.
Right.
Gosh. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's go back out to the phones. Let's grab Andy in Beaverton. Oh, by the way, I love what Victor was saying in regards to the soccer teams over in Turkey. I like the idea of the franchise being able to fine or fire referees.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how many fines old Scott Foster would pile up.
Scott Foster would be out of the league. You're done. We fire you.
Yeah, he's by far the most hated.
There's no question.
Now. And you could never do it because there's no system for it, man. But European soccer has it right. The promotion and relegation is how sports should be set up. Tanking ruins you.
Yeah.
Tanking ruins you. Doesn't happen in those leagues because if you tank, you go down a division, which means you lose money and you have to work harder to get back up. No, that's the way it is, man. That way every game counts, no matter what.
All right, let's go out to Beaverton. Andy, appreciate the call. You're up in the fifth quarter. What was your takeaway from the latest disaster for the Trailblazers?
Well, it was terrible. I watched it for about 15 minutes and then had to turn it off. But my question is, how much of it do you think falls on Chauncey, and how much of it do you think is coming from management above that we need to initiate tank mode? Because what's the point of making the playoffs as an 8 seed and just get knocked out?
I agree. There's no point in doing that. There's no point.
No, there is none. So I don't know about Chauncey as a coach, but I also do question how much of it is coming from the top, because I don't want to make the playoffs and get knocked out. We've been stuck in mediocrity for so long, and that's the last place you want to be. So I'm all for losing as many games as we can at this point. And I think that I'm not a GM, so I don't know all the rules about trades and everything. But we have a couple first-round picks, so it seems like we could put a package together and do something this off season. So I want to get the best pick that we can.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of people are pretty harsh on Chauncey. I don't know. I'm not going to claim that I do know if he's a good coach or a bad coach, but I think that we've entered tank mode.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I wanted to get your take on it.
No, I agree. I'm not going to be too critical of Chauncey because, one, the roster is very poor. And you're right. We don't know the motivation of the front office, although I would have to think that they like the idea of having a 9% chance of Victor Wembanyama. And the idea right now is to acquire usable assets to be able to go out and make a trade to bring in some real talent. That's what it's all about right now. 503-248-0620. Let's go out to East Amity. Ralph, the landscaper's back. Ralphie, what's going on, my friend? Long time no chat.
Well, Chan, I've been, I've told this before, but a lot of the business, the decisions I make, and especially the big things I do are this time of year because, my landscaping business is slower, and Lucy is, running that towing business like, like a 5-star general rock star who everybody loves, and so I don't need to do much with that. So, but I've been, busy here, and had a few things thrown at me. Every year there's one guy who comes back every year, this, we've talked about this, who comes every year and he wants to buy my landscaping business. And, I chuckled at him last time. He usually comes in September, October, and I told him, I go, look, you don't come to me and when it's still busy because I'm tired and I'll be, I won't really have time to listen to you.
Hey, wait a second.
So now,
if you sold your business, what would I call you? Would you still be Ralph the Landscaper?
Well, yeah, you probably could because I'll still work in my own yard. Well, actually, I won't. I'll hire it out. I still do. I don't work in my own yard. Come on, Chan.
Don't wait a second now. You come on, Ralph. You got to be lying about that. So you're a landscaping genius, but yet you hire out to have someone come in and fix your own yard because it would seem to me that someone that has done this as long as you have and is as skilled as you are, that you wouldn't want someone else messing with your yard. I don't buy it.
Well, here's you put a few words in there that are inaccurate. You said hired out. What happens is if somebody on one of my crews, let's just say, doesn't do a good job or is lazy or makes mistakes, they get to come to my property, not my little, postage-size stamp lawn. They come to my property, and I put them to work. And I tell them, I go, look, here's what you're going to do, and I give them a list on paper, and I say, okay, you got the supplies, just like when you're in a big job. I want all this stuff done, and then I go by and inspect it, and I see how much time they spent on it, and I inspect it, and that helps me decide whether A, I fire them on the spot. Of course, I'm going to get my yard and my property all taken care of before I fire them. That's because I'm a smart businessman. And then I'm going to see how they do. And if they do well, then maybe I'll keep them around. If they, or if they, do pretty well, then, I can see firsthand with my own eyes, Chan, the eyes in Ralph's head, I can see exactly what they need to do to improve. Or if maybe one time I was getting fed a line of manure, a line of fertilizer from a foreman, and this guy who came to work, he was amazing, and I just said, something's wrong. So let's just say I had a little camera put on the top of one of the trucks, and I watched the foreman sitting there and text with his girlfriend all day, and not only did he text with his girlfriend, let's just say, he defamed one of my shirts. And I went in there and I just said, you can't have that happen. So I just said, hey, how's it going? You work hard today? And, oh yeah, we're tired. And oh yeah. So really, I imagine you're tired. And he goes, I go, oh, did you come by? And I said, no, I didn't come by. And I said, I imagine you're tired. And he goes, what do you mean? And I started the videotape, and you should have seen that guy, Chan. Off he went. He walked out of my office and boom, bang, bong. He was in his beater car and driving down the road, and he realized it was curtains for him at that point. So
I like it, man. I like it.
Well, you got to use technology, Chad, in your favor. Just like Burkhart, the genius. He got you guys on the YouTube there.
Yes.
And he got you all hooked up, and people can watch you. Speaking of which, I have a question, Chan, and you can tell me I decline to answer that. We got a relationship, and you can tell me that.
Yes.
I see this unlabeled medicine bottle sitting there on the counter, and
Yes.
I'm in front of you, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. I know you're not dumb enough to put something stupid in there. Is it the little ear things you have in your ears? Is it candy? Is it what is it, Chan? What's in that little bottle? It's on the YouTube, people. It's on RIP Space City Space Radio. You can see Chan on there.
That's right. I'm holding it up to the camera right now so everyone can get a close look. I carry around a medicine bottle with me every day because this is what I put my vitamins in. So all the different vitamins I take, I put in this medicine bottle, and then throughout the day when it's time to take my vitamins, I separate the ones I need, and I take them, and then that's that. I'm old school. I don't like those little, vitamin carriers with all the different spots for the days. I like to just carry around an old school bottle because it's easier for me. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, if you put one of those old school things as Monday, Tuesday, all that stuff in there,
yeah,
you would be a tool, Chan. TOOL or TEWL is probably how I would spell it.
That's right. Sometimes, depending on how to pronounce it, I guess it could be spelled both ways. Sometimes you're like, that guy's a tool, and then sometimes you're like, don't be a tool. There's a different spelling for how you decide to use it, I guess.
So you remember, a time or two ago when we talked, Chan, it was all about, well, should they tank? Should they not? Should they do this? Should they do that? And I told you, Chan, I said they should tank, but not tell anybody they're tanking.
Yes.
Because lo and behold, here I am ahead of the curve again. What's going on here? They're doing exactly that.
Yep, stealth tank. They're pretending like they're trying to make a run for the postseason, but they're effectively in win management right now, which is perfect.
Yeah. Now one way to tell people when an NBA team, and the NBA is especially notorious for this little shenanigan here. When they pull out some marketing jive and throw it at you, then oh, wait a minute. Don't look at the product on the floor. We want you to look at Timber Fur. What's his name?
Yeah. It's the new mascot. What is it? Big Fur? Big Sir? Let me look it up again. I can't remember.
Douglas Fur.
Oh, Douglas Fur. That's right. Douglas Fur, the Bigfoot mascot.
Douglas Fur. Okay, yeah, there I saw the picture of him here, Chan, with the flannel shirt on there.
Yep, he's kind of a hipster. He's a Portland hipster Bigfoot.
Yeah. Now, does he have a Oregon Collective T-shirt he's wearing under there, or a Green Cross T-shirt, or something like that, or? I'm just kind of joking about that, but that's a good sponsorship opportunity for those guys that are in that particular business. But Chan, when they pull out the marketing shenanigan, that they're secretly going into tank mode, and then the coach goes out there, and that poor guy, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you some insight on that in a minute.
Yeah.
But he goes out there and says, "We just got to be better," and it's sort of like, well, okay, and I guess you're right. You didn't win, so you got to be better.
I can't argue with that. That's right. I mean, I couldn't argue it when he said we need to be better. I was like, yeah, well, you got that right.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's so. Here's one thing that I learned, Chan, from when I was a younger guy, and I had my business for about 5 years, and I learned this from a guy who had a business like mine in another state, and he told me. I was debating whether or not to fire one of my manager supervisor guys.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Let me tell you how you got to think about this, Ralph. You need to look at that guy and say, if he was on this company's payroll, this great company, would he be great? And if he's not, if you don't say, well, they would love to have him because that'll, he's in this great company now, and man, he would just excel. If you can't say that, then don't be nervous about kicking him down the road. So for Chauncey, you got to say, if he was the coach of the Boston Celtics, would you think, then he would be a great, brilliant coach? And I know my answer, Chan, and I don't think that. I think the answer is probably not. Now, down the road, after he loses a job or maybe two, on the third go round, he may actually have learned a lot and become a very good coach. But I think he's early in his coaching career, obviously, and he's not going to be he's not going to be good for a while. So I just think that I wouldn't blame anyone if they sent him down the road, and who the replacement is probably equally as important. I think they need to go outside the box here, Chan, and they need to go down to the original steer meat shop and hire Mr. Burkhart Sr. to come coach the team. I think that's what needs to happen, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And actually, I wouldn't mind if Burkhart Sr. was coaching the team, because from what Chris has told me, that guy knows how to get the job done and knows how to get people in line to get the job done.
No. Don't get it twisted. There is no Burkhart Sr. I'm a one of a kind. My dad does not share the same last name as me.
What?
Yeah, long story. My dad, no joke. Ralph is going to think I'm joking. The world's going to think I'm joking. My dad's last name is Butcher.
No, it's not.
I am not kidding you. That is not a joke.
Let me get this straight. Your dad owns a meat market.
My dad owns a meat
His last
shop.
name's Butcher.
His last name is Butcher. It's actually caused him a ton of trouble because people always thought he was putting his occupation as his last name on all his government forms and stuff. His last name is Butcher. I am not playing with you. I will bring him into the studio one day and make you meet him to prove that this is a true thing.
Wow.
Well, let's be practical here, gentlemen. If you had a head coach name with the last name Butcher, I guarantee these boys are going to be playing.
That's right. Right, Ralph, that would be like your last name being Money. Like Ralph Money or Ralph Success.
Okay, that would work, that's accurate. It's a good point there, Chan. But I know that him, from what Burkhart has said, that when he would go in there with little girl problems, this girl was, didn't kiss me right last night, his dad would see that and say, "What's your problem? Get your chin off the floor," or something like that, and make him get to work. Yeah. That's how it would happen when all of a sudden these guys aren't playing well. They need to think like that. They need to coach like Butcher. Just think of the promotions, Chan. Talk about doing the marketing game. Just think of what the Halloween game night would be like there.
That'd be amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, you could come out with with one of those big things the butchers wear with the big plastic sheath on his hip
and put dice up. Getting ready to take care of someone, take care of a little problem.
Yeah. I think Chan. I think they were onto something here. So, I think that's the way to go. But here's what I want to tell you, Chad. I know you have like a psychologist guy that calls you every once in a while, right?
Yeah. What's his name down in Salem? Dr. Scott.
Okay. So I don't know if he would tell you this, but what I would tell you, Chan, is don't marry misery here, okay? And you won't, because you golf and you know how to get away and keep your head screwed on straight and go out and enjoy the golf course and the outdoors. So you won't, but don't marry misery. I know you feel the ups and downs of this team, but you could date the misery, and you could have the misery as an occasional companion, or even a lover, Chan. You could have misery as a lover once in a while, but just don't marry misery, okay?
I'm with you, man, 100%. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not going to.
Yeah, all right. Well, okay, Chan. I wanted to check in and let you know. I'm doing fine, and I got to think about if I want to even listen to this guy's offer to buy my landscape every year, Chan. You can count on it.
Well, check with Lucy and ask her if she wants a little misery sometime. I'd be glad to provide it.
Well, no, she likes you, Chan.
Okay.
She thinks highly of you. She's like, a lot of guys don't know how to talk. They sit there and they mumble, and they're kind of like a bump on a log. But she goes, that Chan, he knows how to talk and feel. I heard him do some tough radio shows, and she'd listen in the office during difficult times in our country, and you were there and showed empathy and sympathy and courage, and she was impressed by that. Now, obviously, you blew your opportunity with her.
I did.
But someday I'll tell you the story about when a guy from Dubai tried to date her, and he thought he'd pull up in his Rolls Royce and all that, and she kind of looked at him like, "Who are you? I don't care." And this guy, boy, I wish I saw that on film. So, well, you have a good night, Chad, and I think
Ralphie.
the next coach needs to be Mr. Butcher.
There you got it. I'm with that. There's Ralph the
All right.
landscaper. Now,
Yeah.
Chris, I mean, come on, you're not pulling my leg, right? Are you pulling my leg? There's no way.
Why would I pull your leg about that?
Because it seems too good to be true. Your dad owns a meat shop.
He
and
owns
his
a meat
last name
shop,
is
and
Butcher.
his last name's Butcher.
That's impressive.
Yes, he has been with my mom since I was 3 years old. So he's my dad.
So is her last name Butcher?
It is now.
Okay.
It used to be Burkhardt. It's technically her second marriage, right? I'm a product of the first.
Why didn't you take the last name Butcher?
I should have. That's why I said earlier when we had the ticket giveaway. Was it Joey Beach? I was like, that's an objectively last
That's right.
name.
Joey Beach won tickets
And
today.
you glossed over when I said I should have took my dad's name, Butcher, because that's an objectively good last name.
I missed that part.
You did, but it is. Now, let's go back to the YouTube chat real quick because first off, I don't know if you've seen it here, but Jeffrey asked if your dad owns the original steer. Yes, he does. Secondly, though, Justin points this out, and I've never even thought of this, and now it's really weird. Now you know my dad's last name, but he goes, "You have a slaughter in the morning and a guy who owns a butcher shop at night."
That's good. That's right. Brendan Slaughter. Oh, goodness. Now, Andy is back on. He wants to talk some more?
He said he had some more takes.
All right, let's go back out there. Andy and Beaverton back in for seconds. What's up, Andy? What's on your mind?
Hey, Chad. I'm sorry, my phone cut off. But I also wanted to say, because I was talking about Chauncey and pretty much the tank that we're in right now.
Yes.
But in your opinion, what are the odds that Victor Wembanyama, whatever his name is, that his knees explode as soon as touching the floor if we get him?
Well, I know that we are a cursed franchise and a fan base because we had to live through all that. But Victor Wembanyama is so good that you have to take him and just hope that Greg Oden and Sam Bowie and
Didn't
Bill
we
Walton
say that
doesn't
about
happen all
Oden
over again.
over Durant?
I know, but here's the thing. Everyone, no matter
I
who
know
gets
you
the
have
first
to.
pick,
I'm
you
not
have to.
disagreeing.
Can
You
you
have to
imagine being the
take
GM? Can you imagine Cronin not taking Wembanyama? Like, we would crush him for it. Like, what are you doing?
No, you have to.
Yeah.
And Scoot, no one's replacing Dame. So
Yeah, the
I don't
good
know.
thing
I
is,
just want
think
I
about
mean,
this, though.
there has to be some hesitancy though
Yeah.
about all the injuries and everything we've had. It scares me, honestly.
Yeah, well,
And
think about this, though. If they were to jump up to, let's say they didn't get Victor, but you get number 2, the number 2 pick in the draft, imagine what you might be able to net with that type of asset based on how many people would love to get access to Scoot.
Oh hell yes, that's what I'm all about. Is we have assets now,
Yeah.
and honestly, the last point I wanted to make is we already tried this experiment with Dame and CJ. I don't know why we're doing it with Dame and Ant.
Yeah,
Two undersized, defensive, deficient guards.
Yeah, it
Like,
doesn't
why
work.
is this going to be any different?
No, it's the same thing. They can't defend, and look at how often teams get a straight line drive and get an easy bucket at the rim. It's
No,
on
we
repeat
have
every
to.
night.
We have to. I think that if we package Ant and those picks, we can get something really nice. And that's what I'm hoping we do in the offseason. I know we say Ant is untouchable, but it just seems ridiculous to me. We've already run this experiment, and it doesn't work.
No one is untouchable if the right player is involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like
Absolutely.
yeah, that's just the way it goes.
And you know what? What pains me to say is I honestly feel like trading Dame would be one of the best moves, but you can't. And I understand why you can't, but I feel like just a rebuild would, because right now you can get a lot of assets in return for Dame, and I don't think we're going anywhere. But at the same time, I don't want to see him go anywhere else, so I feel like we're kind of stuck in a rough spot.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. It doesn't make sense. It's a conundrum. It's like I recognize that they could get a haul for him, but I don't want him to be traded, and that doesn't make any
No,
sense.
I want him
but
to
that's why
retire a
I'm-
Blazer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go
Okay.
out and get the people around him so he can go out there and have a chance to make a run.
Let's do it.
All right. Anything else before you go, Andy? Anything else you need to get off your
No.
chest? You want to?
You're awesome, Chad.
You want
I
to talk
appreciate
again
you.
about Sharp only getting 7 minutes tonight? That was pretty solid.
Oh my God! Well, I think that's just because he is too good, and we're in tank mode, so we don't want to put him in.
Well, if that's
honestly,
the
there's
case,
no,
then that's
I don't know
understandable.
what the Yeah, maybe we don't want to get. I just don't understand. I think Chauncey's gone. Hopefully, I mean, if a coach doesn't work, I think it seems like we've held on to coaches for quite a while. Nate McMillan, and then we went to Terry Stotts. And if it doesn't work, I think we should just try someone else because it clearly seems not to be working right now. So I don't know. Whatever. That's why I don't get paid anything.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I appreciate it. There's Andy in Beaverton. Oh boy, yay. Yeah, there's no recovery. I mean, any hope they had of making a run, it's done now. And they probably have 2 more losses on the way with Boston and the Clippers, too.
Yeah, tough run. I was talking about it in the office today. I was like, next 5 are critical. If they drop 3 of their next 5, toasted, done, burnt. So There you are.
Yep.
And then just real quick, too, like everyone, when you talk about Wembanyama, like, I get that he's 7 feet tall, right? And I get that Chet was 7 feet tall, too, and he has an injury last year. But Greg Oden at this point was almost 20 years ago. Like, we can't keep living in this. Yeah, but what if we draft another big guy who gets hurt? Or Sam Bowie. Like, we're talking 40 years ago at this point. Like, it's the same thing when you talk about trading Anthony Simons, right? Or even Shaedon Sharpe more so. Yeah, but what if, because everyone is scarred by the ghost of Jermaine O'Neal. Like, you can't continue to make moves and think of your moves in this vacuum that is, 1985 to 2005. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to understand the situation and look right in front of you. Like, everyone goes, yeah, well, Greg Oden over Durant. Every single GM in that number 1 spot would have taken Greg Oden. Every single one.
Yeah.
Even though the 2 or 3 that were reported to be leading Durant would have taken Oden.
Yeah.
And in this draft, that's Victor Wembanyama. And he's Oden, but different, right? Like, it's a consensus guy. So if you are Joe Cronin and you land the first pick, don't outthink the process, right? Don't try to outthink the room. Like, all the signs are saying go left, go left, go left. So don't just go right just for fun. Like, this is too easy. Too easy.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Our next Trailblazer broadcast, Chris and I will be here for Friday's game. The Boston Celtics are going to be in town. We'll have game day starting at 4:30 with the tip-off at 7 o'clock. Justin Myers tomorrow morning, Rip City Mornings here on 620 Rip City Radio. Dwight and I are back at 3 o'clock. If you missed our conversation earlier with Chris Haynes, a Bleacher Report and TNT, you can podcast it on the iHeartRadio app, or just go to our website, ripcityradio.com. Your final score from Moda Center tonight, the New York Knicks over your Portland Trailblazers, 123-107. For Chris Burkhardt, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night, my friends.